the Utep Miners coming to town. I got an OU at a 32.5-point favorite, according to ESPN. That's on our ESPN Pick'em page. Pat, talk to the people about the Pick'em page.
Yes, Pick'em page. Everyone sign up for our Pick'em page. We've been tweeting out the link at you. You will be able to sign up, make an account like an ESPN fantasy account. And every week, ESPN is going to give you about 10 games to choose from. And you will be picking which team you think is going to win. And on top of that, cover.
Just cover.
And top win and cover. Okay.
Well,
cover.
But if you lose, you can still cover.
That's true.
We're
right.
playing
so
spreads because we know our stuff, people.
Right.
That's
Absolutely.
Right. That's right. So make your picks this week. Be sure to get them in. OU is one of those picks that you can make at minus 32.5. That's who I picked. I got OU to cover this game. Let's talk a little bit about the game itself. They're the UTEP Miners. They played a game last week against North Texas. They lost at home in El Paso, 31-13. They didn't look great in that game. I watched the highlights. They don't look like an impressive team. Anybody have anything to add about UTEP that kind of sticks out to you? I know Mark's watched a little bit of them, but just to me, I think their quarterback, Gavin Hardison, looks athletic. He made some mistakes. Their offensive line doesn't look that good either, but they do have two wide receivers, Tyron Smith and Ronaldo Flores, two receivers who went over 120 yards last week in receiving. So those are two guys that you're going to have to be on the lookout for.
Yeah, I think they were being respectful when they were talking about El Paso, but I think we cover. Life's too short to take the under here. I think we're going to crush them. But interesting thing about Gavin, their quarterback, averaged 9 yards per passing attempt last year, which is very few quarterbacks did that. And then on the defensive end of it, I think they averaged only 5.5 yards against them. Mm-hmm. So, these are some cool things to look at. See if we can keep those. Obviously, we're going to crush their defensive average, but their passing yard average, that's impressive. Can we defend the long balls and how we're going to do there? I think I'm excited to watch that.
Mark?
Yeah,
Matt? Go ahead. Somebody.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
No, go ahead, Matt.
Mark, you always taught me to don't play the game, just play the numbers, right? I am absolutely covering this bad boy that OU gets. So you said, is it 32 or 34? I can't
32 and a half.
Right. You are covering this bad boy? Y'all got everyone needs to learn their betting words. Everyone
covering it. They will win. They will win by more than 32 and a half points. They'll win by more than 32 and a half points. Whatever. Anyways, I saw the highlights of the El Paso and North Texas. And it was actually tied. It was 14-13 at halftime. So it wasn't a complete blowout.
No.
So let's just take that in perspective. They just didn't score a single point in the second half, but they still had over 400 yards of offense, and 250 of it came from those two wide receivers that you mentioned. One guy is 5'7", 180, and I got another guy's 5'11", 205. So two unique styles of wide receiver. Let's see if the quarterbacks can cover these guys, because OU's going to get up early. They're going to have to throw the football. So I'm really interested to see if these quarterbacks can cover for a good amount of time, because, listen, we're going to be up by so much. They're going to abandon the run game. They're going to have to toss it over the yard. Let's see what these quarterbacks are made of.
UTEP allowed 163 yards on the ground last Saturday. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how Eric Gray and Marcus Major are used in this game. Do you go from the jump, attack with the run, or do you try to have some explosive plays to start the game and get up big? I think Jeff Levy's more inclined to get the run game started first before the pass game, but that's just me. Anybody else, anything to add about UTEP?
Guys, I looked up a lot of stuff about UTEP.
I want to hear it.
So their top two leading rushers from last year are returning. These guys broke 1,000 yards combined last year. They are seasoned players. They've played in football games. They know what they're doing. Their number 1 and 2 receivers from last year transferred out, but that opened up opportunities for your guy, Tyron Smith, who would have been second on OU's roster with 33 catches last year. He was third for UTEP. I hated it last year. I hated it so much. But the cool thing is that RDB should be able to stay with those guys, right? Because everyone else is like freshmen and JUCO dudes that are replacing these guys. They don't really matter. I'm interested to see how our defensive line goes against them, because I know Mason said that the O-line didn't look good. They have 3 honorable, I'll mention, All-Conference USA guys from last year on that offensive line. Gavin Hardison, he's not very good, right? Like, he's at Utep, but he was playing last year. They have continuity, much more continuity than OU does. Obviously, we're going to be the more like impressive team, right? For OU, but this is a team that's played together and has sort of that seasoning together. When we're on offense, they have 8 returning starters on defense. Like, look, compare that to us. We have like 3, and 2 of them are playing new positions. It's just a different kind of thing. Their defense was good last year too. They have. Sorry, I'm just kind of going off here, guys.
No, you're good.
I realize that's what I'm doing.
Keep going.
Their 2 starting defensive ends last year, both are returning. They had 12 sacks last year, and they've got 2 dudes who weigh over 300 pounds in between them. So it's a good test for our offensive line to actually like really go after these guys, because they have size and they have a little bit of talent on them. They have 2 guys who are All-Conference USA at linebacker, and they run this like 4-2-5. So that's what they're doing. And they're redshirt seniors. So like they're both TD Roof. Corners are corners, DBs are DBs. Like, we're going to beat these guys, but I think it's a good first game. It's a lot better than some of the first games we've had in the past.
Do you think we cover?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I do. I'm overkill, but like, I think that we cover for sure.
Okay.
So
Mark is like, these
I'm
guys
glad we're
are
on the
really,
same
really
page.
good, but like
Well, it's
55-3 OU.
I mean, we're OU, man. We're OU.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is, like, we're learning new stuff on both sides of the ball. These guys have a bunch of seniors on both sides of the ball that were playing the same thing last year. It's a good test against a team that knows its system.
Yeah.
So what I want to do now is I want to kind of go around the horn, and I want everybody to tell me what they're most looking forward to, what they want to watch the most in the game on Saturday. I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, so I'll start first. Really, what I want to see from this OU team on Saturday is I want to see a pass rush. I want to see who's going to be able to get to the quarterback, who's going to be able to get to the quarterback consistently, and how much we blitz and how often. That's really what I want to see, because when we play these teams down the line, when you're going to play the Baylors, when you're going to play the Oklahoma States, when you're going to play the big boys, those offensive lines know how to block. And you got to be able to get to the quarterback in those games and be able to change the momentum of games in one play. So I want to see from the jump that this team is able to put pressure back there, no matter who it is. I don't care who does it, if it's Redmond or if it's Ethan Downs or if it's Marcus Stripling, I don't care. Just somebody go do it. That's what I'm looking for. Somebody else go next.
Yeah, so I would say like mine is very similar to yours, Mason. I'm looking for aggressiveness on defense. But I think like that's like the game. What I'm also looking at is like, what is the environment going to be like? I'm extremely excited to just see the environment of the game, and like BV's first game, how the fans react. I think it's going to be explosive and incredible and like all of those amazing things, right? But I'm excited to see that, because it feels like we're pulling in a new era here. It begins on Saturday, and everyone is looking up and saying like, oh, like the mountaintops that we can like reach with this, right? And I'm excited to see that and feel that. So that's what I'm most looking forward to.
Yeah, that's a good point, because we've talked a lot how our OU fan experience isn't that great, or at least I'm on this hill, and I don't think it's that great. I don't think we're rowdy enough. I definitely don't think we're as rowdy as an average SEC school.
Pat,
that
you're
all
right.
needs to get way better very quickly.
That's why we hired that guy, right? The Vegas Knights guy or whatever.
Yeah,
So
from the
maybe
Golden
it'll be
Knights.
a better
Or
experience for the
yeah,
guys
whatever.
going to the game. You're going to have to let us know. What I'm looking forward to, because I'll be watching it on a nice plasma screen. I didn't get that ticket to that game, so shout out
good.
to you guys who got tickets and didn't invite
I
me.
believe
But
it was offered.
Yeah.
I believe
I
that
know,
it
I'm
was
just giving you
offered.
guys a
I'm
hard
And you
taking
did
you
the
to like
thing.
I'm
God.
taking
you
you
did
to
the
like 2 or
thing.
3 games.
Hey.
And you did the thing where you're like, oh, well, let me check in and then I'll get back to you and we'll talk about it.
Anyways, again, I was talking. I was going to go after I finished.
Go ahead.
Ryan's.
Real.
Well, you weren't really getting to a point, so I was just trying to help you.
I was ending my point.
Yeah,
Anyways,
get it, Pat.
I
Go.
think I'm most excited to see how we're utilizing Marvin Mims and how he's meshing with Dylan Gabriel. I think that's going to be huge from the start. And we have a lot more potential if those two are meshing than if they're not.
Love it. Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Patrick. Great point. Great ending point. Seriously, amazing. Mason, thanks for reverse Unoing. You know me. I love putting people on the spot. I love being on the spot. Okay. And I want to see the offensive line punish people. Look, we're going to score points. We're obviously the most gifted, more athletic team. We get that. We're going to execute. I don't have any, nothing's going to go wrong. We're going to put up 40, 50, 60 points. No problem. I want to see the O-line get on top of people, move some of those guys that Mark mentioned. If they are 300 pounds, bigger guys, I want them to get on people, open up some running lanes for the running backs, and give DG plenty of time. I want to see the offensive line be better than they were last year. This is a great game to prove it.
Love it. Mark, round us out, man.
So first, I want to touch on yours, Mason. The how much they blitz. That's something I'm looking forward to.
Yep.
That's something. It's something BV is known for, is these exotic blitzes. How much does he do it now versus waiting? Keeping it in the chamber for later. I'm gonna keep on this hill. Does Marcus Major outplay Eric Gray on Saturday? Because I think that's a big defensive line. It's a big set of linebackers. Eric Gray weighs 200 pounds. Marcus Major weighs 230. I think that there's a difference in that, and we'll just see what happens.
I think Marcus gets more carries on Saturday. I'll agree with you on that now. I think he does. But those are our predictions for the game. That's kind of our game breakdown. They'll get more in depth as the season goes along. But I mean, right now, guys, it's Utep. Comment below on our YouTube video. What do you think the Sooners are going to win by? If you think they're going to win, what are you most looking forward to? Let us know if you're going to the game as well. Comment down below if you're going to the game. If you see us, if you see us on campus, give us a wave. Let us know you're a listener of the pod. We always appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support. By the way, trying to get
I would lose my mind. I would lose my mind if someone came up and said they were a listener.
I know.
Lose
I'd
lose
love
it.
it.
Oh my God.
Reminder, if you are watching this video right now and you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please subscribe. Trying to get to 1,000 subs by the end of the year. Just surpassed 700 earlier in the week. Thank you so much for subscribing to the show.